There we go. What's up, everybody? We got a lot of stuff to go into tonight, and I got the footage. I don't know. I'm having problems with that GoPro. What's up, kid? What's up, Kelly? Good evening, Scout. Cheers. Good evening. Jacqueline, what's up? Cat. SM, I swear I feel like I'm like still coughing up stuff. Speaking of 503 air. Get that sunset in the background finally. Let me turn this music down. Well, a bird just flew away. Turn this music down. What's up, Brandywine? Thank you for that big long email information. Please hit the like if you haven't yet. Move it. Queensland, Australia. Juice. Never been here since. What's up, Deb? If it's going to show it. There we go. Yes, please drop some. What's up, DS? What's up, what's up? Yo, 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 yo. I'll be sending you a panel invite here in a little bit. So, I literally spent probably 3 to 4 hours on this GoPro. I spent $45 on different programs and everything trying to get it to display. So I ended up having to use a old Windows media player in order to show you guys, because everything else showed a dark screen. So what we're gonna do is I have to open up. So let me see. I'm going to go to the scene. So let me see here. Let's see if I'm going to try and. It's the best I could do. All right, hold on. Let me go to a video. Let me try this. Yeah, it's because the internet's spotty, and I have to go off my mobile hotspot because I can't get a connection up here. All right. Let me try this. Let me see if this works. So sorry if I'm in and out. It's because is it gonna work? Let me try this then. This GoPro, I'm telling you, I cannot figure out. I've spent $45 on different programs total. You need to buy cloud space. You need to subscribe to GoPro this. You need to have hex dot something in order to view the video of the file that you recorded. You need to have some kind of Google subscription and all these other things. And it's like, damn, I got the videos, but the screen is green and it has the audio. I don't know. You have to do a class to use the thing. Everybody warned me that it was like a lot of freaking, it was confusing as hell. All right, so I'm going to show this. I mean, the clarity is I'm putting the SD card in my computer. And come on, pause. I thought it would be as easy as me putting my SD card in my computer and then just transferring the videos over to a file, but you do, it's crazy. It is. I understand why people say it's a big headache. Because I mean, seriously, I spent 3 to 4 hours today just trying. I literally I tried it with the app first, then it wasn't working, so I tried plugging the GoPro into the computer itself. That wasn't working, so then I plugged the SD card into the computer, and then at that point, that's where I'm spending a whole bunch of money, and I got a green screen on it. So let me try this. We're gonna share screen, and let's go to this. Let's see if this works. All right, can you guys see this? No. Let's see. Yeah, I just wanted to transfer my videos to, you know what I mean? You plug in the SD card, right? No, you got to subscribe and get a year plan. All this other stuff. It's like, what? I just wanted to transfer my shit. What's up, everybody? I'm sorry I can't see chat. I'm trying to entire screen. Let me do this. Can I do that? All right, let's do that. All right, let's do that. We'll see if this works. All right, so you're seeing everything on the stream, plus the audio probably. Now, can you see this? Tell me if you can see this. Hopefully you can see this. View full screen. All right. Hold on 1 second. Let's go to there. Is that better? Maybe. Okay, now let me rewind it here. Let's see, maybe to right here, maybe. I mean, the clarity is amazing. Let me just get my face. All right, so here it is from right here. All right, so I'm going to show another video here. Let's see. Where did we went? I think it was this. No, that was a 9. Maybe 9. All right, so I'll go ahead and pause it here. So the clarity is amazing. I'm not going to lie. Clarity is amazing. Trying to transfer it. And I think it's just choppy like this because of the computer. I think it doesn't have enough processing. So, but I'll always have this files whenever I do get one. But this is, I mean, the clarity is amazing. Oh my gosh. It's so amazing. So there's the spot where the vehicle was parked. Okay. So when we kind of go into some of this stuff tonight, damn, crickets. They said it's Sunday night. What's up? But that's where the vehicle, the clarity is amazing. Now, there's a lot of the stuff has changed, you know, vegetation wise. You know, they've cut down a lot of trees. So that's that spot. And then, let's see, what else was there? There was 3. Some of them are not loading for some reason. So I'm going to have to do a little bit more work on it, but I wanted to show you. There's the memorial. There's where the vehicle was. Then we went to the grave and took you guys around there. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful over there too. But I'm going to have to do a little bit more work. And so we'll be able to, I kind of want to like put all of them together. And there's an editing program that I paid for. I don't even remember what it's called, something from Microsoft. But I kind of wanted to like flip a whole bunch of stuff together. Now we can go to the lounge where I did record it all. But the internet was so choppy out there. Plus, there's so much more. I haven't even figured out how to go live with the GoPro yet. I'm still trying to figure out how to transfer all this stuff. So give me 1 second. I'm going to put me on mute because I don't know if it was echoing when I did this share screen. But we're going to go in into some of the stuff that we didn't get to last night. I'm going to wait until the end of the show later on to get into that. Tonight, right away, we're going to get into the coroner pathologist and the South Carolina Highway Patrol when we did all this deep dive in here. So give me 1 second. There. I don't want to play it yet. I don't want to play it yet. Where'd everything go? What is going on? This is crazy. Okay, can I come back here? All right, there we go. All right, let me say what's up to everybody that hopped in. So, literally, I busted my ass. I even worked past the time when I was supposed to work on it, and I don't know. This GoPro shit is confusing. I'm gonna tell you that right now. All right, so let me. And what we're gonna do tonight, actually, coming up, we're gonna have a Richard Allen episode. I'm gonna try and get Silky Southern Tea and Coach Kev at some point coming up soon. We're gonna have a Tupac episode at the lounge. Either tonight or tomorrow sometime. I got a bunch of stuff saved for a Tupac episode. Idaho 4, of course, and then Suzanne Morphew and Karen Reed, amongst some other things that I have saved. So once like tomorrow, I do plan on having a daytime show during the day. So I'm probably going to cover Idaho 4 and some of the other topics. And I'm going to save that Richard Allen for when I get Silky and Coach Kevin. All right, so let me get invite to Yoli for whenever she wants. And then what I'm going to do is, I know a lot of people haven't really been able to, they might not know much about the case. So, if you guys have any questions when it comes to any of the details, if you have any questions, just whatever, just go ahead and drop it in the chat. Just put like a hashtag Q in front of it or something. And what I can do is I'll star if I see the hashtag Q, I'll star the message. And then when we get to that part, I'll go ahead and answer any of the questions that you guys put in chat throughout the show while we watch this. If I don't answer them during the show, I'm going to be smart. Answer them when we get to that part. So tonight, what I'm going to do is we're going to go through this previous episode of when I did some digging and kind of showed the coroner, the pathologist, and the South Carolina Highway Patrol's involved in all of this. Now, keep in mind, this is an episode from, excuse me, I still feel like I'm coughing stuff up from the damn fire. This is an episode from March 19th, 2023. So this is a lot, some of these facts are old. I definitely did a lot more digging after that episode. So playlist. But if you want to go to the recap that we had the other night, that's where I've been for a long time when it comes to after I did all the digging and all the diving. I did that last show with Silky, where it's called The Evidence. So if you click on the playlist, you'll go to the evidence. It's the very last episode of the playlist, and it's basically that's how I feel about what took place after everything went down. What's up, Yoli? What's up,
Hi.
Architect? Everybody else?
Can,
Renee?
can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay,
What's up,
good.
Arwit? Nina? Lucille? It's getting a little chilly now. How was your day today, Yoli?
It was well. I got a bunch of errands done.
Yeah? So what's it sounding like for the upcoming case
Trial.
of the court? Yeah.
Defense counsel's already said October 27th is not likely going to work, so it might be November 3rd. So it might be November 3rd. I don't know.
So you got some free time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I have some time. Yeah.
You got some time.
I mean, I prepared for this trial already 3 times.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, I have other work to do that I can do during the day, but, it's just frustrating. It's just,
You just, yeah. It's like, come on already. Man, excuse me.
Yeah, and I feel bad for the clients and the experts, and this is outside of my control.
Yeah, that's true. All the people that have to be involved in the whole process and everything, yeah, they got to keep making sure they're available each time. They probably don't get any compensation for that either, do they?
Well, the experts do if they testify, but I mean, here you go. You're asking them, setting a trial date, and then ask them to be available at a certain time, and then they move the trial date, and it's like, okay, well, he can reschedule the patients back that he had to cancel, but still, it's very inconvenient.
It is.
And so
When it's,
in Riverside County, the county over to, I guess, the south of me, I don't know, southwest, it's backlogged with a bunch of criminal cases that have to go first.
so they can't give you a real. I feel like there's mosquitoes out here or something. So they can't give you like a realistic. Can't give you like a realistic time when it comes to it. They just keep kind of pushing it back. Don't they know
Yeah.
that there's a backlog already? You know what I mean? Like they
Well,
can't.
they should have known. That's the problem. Is they
Right.
should have had a plan, But
Shitty
everybody
org-
was. It's just it wasn't planned properly. It's just and then people were working from home. And you'd call the court like to ask about a document, and then you could hear kids in the background. Everything when COVID was on.
Right.
And I mean, it just got messy. I mean, things are getting lost. And so it just gets frustrating because for real, I haven't had to try a case since 2015. That was before COVID because most of my cases settle. So I don't have to. It's just this one. It's going to have to be tried.
Interesting. Well, at least you got a little more time. So,
Yeah.
did you do any more digging last night on the Stephen Smith stuff? Or did you
I
just-
did.
Yeah. What'd you come up with?
Well, I'm seeing how Sean and Patrick are
Yeah.
involved.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so Patrick's stepdad,
Daryl. Yep.
Daryl, was the one who called the police and said that, which is weird because he's actually calling
Yeah, calling them,
Yeah.
offering them the information, and then at the end, made sure to end the call with, "By the way,
Oh, Murdaugh
the
telling.
only reason that I'm calling is because Randy Murdoch told me."
And Randy Murdaugh is the brother of Alex Murdaugh.
Well,
So
there's
it's
a
like,
brother and a dad, so it, but yeah, we there's been a lot of back and forth about, was it the dad, was it the brother? Now I think it was the brother that called. There,
the brother.
I think it was, but I can't say for sure. Now I tend to believe the person that was at the scene of the crime that called uh, that called Sandy. I believe that was the dad, because if you remember the Mallory Beach, I don't know if you
Yes,
got into
he
that.
was in. He was involved in that too.
Yes, the daddy Murdoch was the one that showed up with Alec. He was, and him and Paul were real close. Now, Paul wasn't necessarily involved in this, just friends with, you know what I'm saying, and friends talk. There was a lot of things going around, and I couldn't find the paperwork of the school transfer, but there was a lot of stuff being speculated that he was like losing his shit, and he was like going to say, somebody better say that they drove the boat, otherwise I'm going to tell a whole bunch,
Yes,
and then all of a
yes,
sudden he was hurried up and transferred out of that school. No cops were called or nothing, which
yeah.
is
So
typically what's supposed to, what was supposed to happen.
so
But
this case is almost as complicated as the Idaho 4
yeah,
in terms of the people involved, and you know,
yeah, and in the foolery and the
yeah,
manipulation, and yeah, for sure. Uh, that's why I was like, why is nobody talking about this? This is one of
yeah.
those effed
I
up
thought the same
cases.
thing.
Yeah. So
And I just got hooked on Idaho 4. These were the two cases I was looking at, and then I got hooked on Idaho 4. And then after that, it was Idaho 4.
yeah, well, I mean, we'll be getting back to it tomorrow, but this is it's going to be pretty much the final. We're going to have a little bit more coming up later in the week when it comes to like this footage and stuff. I'm going to get it cleaned up, edit it up, add some photos to it because I got some photos with it too. Um, and we'll be getting to the Idaho 4 and the Richard M too. But
Yeah. So
with
the sled people, the sled report, or the people that are working on the sled lab, whatever, they can't tell the mother's attorney anything about the investigation.
well, what can they tell them?
Well, I mean, are they? They're investigating. They're reinvestigating it as a homicide, right?
Yeah, but what can they tell them? This is this is why I was saying last night when we were talking about it, I was saying I'm cool with not knowing, because look, think about it like this. When you read all those pages of that report, there's only one page, and it's a half a page that involves Sean and Patrick. And the reason that it ends is because they cannot further
Re-
contact these individuals anymore. And I think that's why they can't tell the family nothing, because it's like, yo, we're trying to figure out, we have somebody calling in, this is a good tip, it's a good lead. We can't, even back in the report they couldn't follow up enough, and I think that's the roadblock that they're at right now. And the unfortunate thing is like Sandy Smith was saying to Court TV last night, anytime something happens with Murdaugh, then shit goes quiet. People still are afraid to talk. There was an interview that Cousin Eddie did a lot, like a month ago, where he was talking about the whole Murdaugh power, and and this is Cousin Eddie, and Cousin Eddie was saying, "Look, y'all think because Alec got convicted that this Murdaugh power is somehow crumbled?" He said, "Y'all ain't seen nothing yet. This is just a speed bump."
So if the police, if the SLED people find something that they can, aside from what they already know, if they find new things, they will share it with the family?
Well, what can they share? I mean,
No. If they do get more information.
think about it. What, but as an investigator, what can you share? You know?
Well, that's what I'm trying to find out, because like in the Idaho 4, like the prosecutors aren't telling. In the Idaho 4, the prosecutors aren't telling the family much of anything. But I guess they already have their guy, so, or they think they have their guy. So I guess this is different. I guess it's different, yeah.
Because there's nobody talking.
Yeah.
There's nobody. That's what I'm trying to say. The people in the community that they need to talk to get to these leads better aren't talking still. Because like Sandy Smith said, when something's Murdaugh's, he might, have a new trial, or, this or that. Like with all this stuff going on with him, it affects that community. And they don't want to talk. They don't want to talk because just like with what went down with what we're going to watch here in a little bit, you're going to see people are afraid and they're willing to manipulate shit so they don't have to worry about the backlash. I mean, when you have people like Cousin Eddie that's, wanted to back away from this whole check cashing thing, and when he was trying to approach Alec about it, Alec threatened him and stuff. This is no joke. Like, these people are scared to talk. So if you can't get a hold of the people, just like in the report, you lost contact. You can't get a hold of the people. You don't know where they're at. You need somebody to talk because, like they all said this whole time, it's a small town. These people have talked. Somebody knows something. The problem is nobody's talking. And the reason is because people are still scared after the conviction. Yes. And that's why I think the SLED is doing a great job still. That's why I think that they weren't able to tell the family anything, because what are you going to tell them? Other than we're still working on it, which is what they are. They're still working on it. They're still waiting for somebody to talk.
And how, I just don't know how. I mean, I wonder what they're doing to make people talk. What can you do? Put out fake information and see if somebody bites?
All you can do, you've already interviewed people as much as you can. You know what I'm saying? It comes to somebody being comfortable enough to be able to come forward. That doesn't have that fear of what's going to happen to them, because listen, this has been generations. Everybody knows what the fuck happens. I know what the fuck happens. I was fucking nervous as shit when I was driving there. I wasn't nervous for the. I wasn't nervous for the.
Yeah. No, I know.
There's just certain parts I was nervous, and it had nothing to do with the community. I'll just put it that way.
The fear is the thing.
That's nothing to do with the community.
The fear is what is going to keep people from not talking. But I'm just trying to find out how you shake somebody from a tree, to talk.
You have to wait. When listen, all dynasties fall. So this is a huge brick with Alec being convicted. That's a huge brick knocked off that foundation.
Although if it gets overturned because of this jury tampering or whatever was going on, I don't know how that's going to affect anything, but there'll just be another trial.
Yeah, but there's still good. This is what I think. I think one of the other ones. You already knocked one brick out of the foundation. It's shaky, right? It's got some cracks in it. You take another brick out of that foundation, and then that's when I think somebody's gonna. or
Yeah.
unless they find some kind of proof, which I don't know how they're going to, because if they had it already, they already would have, you know what I mean? It already would have been, let's go.
Yeah.
But it's not. So you know that they don't have that definitive, evidence that leads to a specific person or persons. They got some damn good leads, but again, gotta talk. They know something else. They know multiple, but
Yeah.
it's just waiting for somebody to feel comfortable to come forward and know that they're going to be protected. And that's what it's going to take.
Yeah, definitely a lot of layers to this case.
Yeah. I mean, you'll see these people. I have a feeling like some of these people we're going to watch tonight in this part of the show felt the same thing. Like they better put something down that says this on a piece of paper because they know what's going.
Right.
It goes not from from the community all the way up.
Yes, all of the people that are involved. It's a lot of layers. Nina wants a cake with layers. No.
Let me see here. This might not actually be the whole 2 hours. Let me see what this background. These mosquitoes. I might have to move it to the stores. And we're gonna get into this first video. It's from True Crime Design, and great channel. That's just didn't really think too much of it until, as time went on, it statements were close. But did I go through?
Is that for a family to say, we see that justice was served for Maggie and Paul, and we hope the same can be done.
Oh, look, Kevin Kraft's on panel. So I'm going to go ahead. We're going to play the 911 call again. This is from Island Packet. I'll share it here in a second. I'm going to get up their link to their YouTube channel. So the first thing, obviously, we're going to check out is the 911 call. I know it's a little hard to understand, so I'm going to keep the music while we listen to the 911 call. And then we're going to start getting into some of the statements, just kind of as everything's taking place before we really get into the incident report and different articles and such. When it comes to the medical professionals, what's been going on, the statements between themselves, the kind of friction that was taking place, the kind of different opinions on what they thought took place. And then we're going to kind of give you a little bit of the evidence, and then you can, end the night kind of thinking about it in your own mind and what maybe you'll kind of think of and what you'll come up with. So this is Island Packet, and this will be the 911 call. I'll go ahead and mute the music, and then we'll get into that video.
Crocketville Road. I see somebody laying out.
What road are you? What's the name of the highway that you're on?
I know it's Crocketville Road.
Just know it's Crocketville Road.
Yeah.
Hold on just a second.
So this is the 911 call from the guy that saw Stephen Smith's body laying on the ground. Okay. Rewind it just a little bit. This is a 911 call. Themselves, the kind of friction that was taking place, the kind of different opinions on what they thought took place, and then we're going to kind of give you a little bit of the evidence, and then you can, end the night kind of thinking about it in your own mind and what maybe you'll kind of think of and what you'll come up with. So this is Island Packet, and this will be the 911 call. Go ahead and mute the music, and then we'll get into that video.
Crockerville Road.
Mhm.
I see somebody laying out.
What road are you? What's the name of the highway that you're on?
I know it's Crockerville Road.
Just know it's Crocketville Road.
Yeah.
Hold on just a second. And which way are you headed?
Okay, the back way to go like you going towards Brunson.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay, you're on that road just before you get into Crocketville.
Turn Crockerville, make that right.
Okay. From Crocketville, take a right.
Wait, take a left. When you go 601,
Uh-huh.
Bamberg.
Uh-huh. If I'm going toward Bamberg, I'm gonna take a left onto that road.
Yeah, like you going to I see the road called 14. You can go to Sandy Run,
But you're not on Sandy Run Road.
I think it is this you can Sandy Road go straight on out.
Okay. All right. And is it in the road or on the side of the road?
You in the road.
In the road.
Yeah.
Uh-uh.
Oh, it was on mute. Sorry. My bad. This is how his body was laying in the middle of the road. Now, the gentleman, sorry, I was trying to mute it so you could hear out the cars. So this is how his body was laying in the middle of the road. Okay. If it's a hit and run, right, and you get hit on the side of the road, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to land in the middle of the road. You're going to be off to the side of the road. Not to mention, usually one shoe or 2 shoes are going to be knocked off as well. And he had 2 shoes on, and they had loose shoestrings on. They weren't even tied. So it doesn't make sense. This is how his body was laying. So as the gentleman here is talking about where he was at on the road, this is a zoomed up picture for you guys of what they're showing when they're showing this 911 call.
Road called 14. You can go to Sandy Run,
But you're not on Sandy Run Road.
I think it is you can Sandy Road go straight on out.
Okay. All right. And is it in the road or on the side of the road?
You in the road.
In the road.
Yeah.
Uh-uh.
I can't imagine.
All right. So what's your name and call that number?
My name is Ronnie Capers.
Okay. All right, Mr. Capers. Can I get a phone number for you?
I don't know the number off the shelf.
And that's the old display that they had up there before you see the white cross that they have up there now. This is what they used to have up there, and then they replaced it with that white cross.
Oh, but you can call this number back. I was going to work.
Okay, but this is a good number to reach you back at.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll get an officer headed out that way to see what's going on.
Okay, so you live in the road. I ain't moving or nothing like that. But somebody gonna hit him. It's dark.
Uh-huh.
And shout out to Suzanne Andrews. This is what Stephen Smith's gravesite used to have before it got that beautiful headstone. Suzanne Andrews, along with Stephen's mother, Sandy Smith, got together a GoFundMe, and Suzanne Andrews kind of saw what was going on. She wanted to get something going. She reached out to her father. Her father used his establishment to hold the event, and they raised enough money not only to get Stephen a new headstone, but also Stephen's father, who passed away shortly after Stephen did. So, and I will show you guys the video. I think I got my pictures uploaded here too, and you can see the headstones. Very beautiful headstones. So I just want to say shout out to Suzanne Andrews. Thank you so much for all of your kindness. Because people can come across this stuff and not even give two shits, and because it doesn't involve them. You know what I mean? And when people that it doesn't even involve, it touches their heart, and they want to do things like that. It's just a beautiful thing. That's what this earth and that's what life was made for. Is for the beauty of those things.
The toxicology report, I believe that he didn't have any drugs, right?
No,
No.
where'd that come from?
Oh, it's in the chat.
Oh, yeah, one second.
All right, Mr. Capers, can I get a phone number for you?
I don't know the number off this phone, but you can call this number back. I was going to work.
Okay, but this is a good number to reach you back at.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. We'll get an officer headed out that way to see what's going on.
Okay, so you live in the road. I ain't moving or nothing like that, but somebody going to hit him.
Oh, yeah, shout out Suzanne Andrews. I just
Somebody going to hit him.
that.
All right, we'll get an officer headed out that way.
Okay.
All right, sir.
All right, there's the 911 call. And maybe not released, Pam, but as I don't know everything about this case. I feel like I find something new out every day. But that's just me. There's something brand new that we have tonight, thanks to SRB. I appreciate the heads up. Something I know I didn't see until tonight, until SRB showed me. But that's later in the show. Yeah, that's pretty graphic stuff, but it's stuff we have to get into. We'll talk about that later. So that was the 911 call. Now I'm going to get into a couple statements from the Ellie that showed up at the scene. I know the 911 call was hard to understand, but just to kind of keep it all shrunk down, you can go ahead and rewind if you need. Our whip, I see it. This is streamed live on March 19th, our whip. I keep seeing you putting that in there, but this is streamed live on March 19th. So, I love it. Too. And I'm not sure what's going on with my YouTube here. I don't know. I just feel like I find out something new every day.
CJ talking about
So this is former state trooper Todd Proctor. He's speaking on the Stephen Smith case from Fox News. I appreciate you guys. I'm really talking this up. I appreciate you.
A murder mystery in South Carolina, the Low Country, involving two members of a prominent legal family. Police have not mentioned any clues or suspects publicly in the murders of Maggie and Paul Murgao. The investigation into their deaths is prompting a new scrutiny on a cold case from 2015, however. And Fox News has an exclusive interview with a former state trooper involved in that case from 6 years ago. Griff Jenkins is on that story, Colleton County in South Carolina. Good morning, Griff.
Good morning, Bill. There have been no arrests and no of interest have been publicly named in the investigation into the brutal murder of Paul and Maggie Murdoch, as they're referred to here locally in Colleton County. We went out to the property yesterday. It's a 1,700-acre hunting lodge the Murdochs own. We tried to find out what has led investigators to reopen the 2015 cold case of the death of 19-year-old Stephen Smith. That case ruled a hit-and-run death, but we spoke to the lead investigator, former trooper Todd Proctor, and he says that in his recollections, it was anything but a hit and run. Listen, you said it pointed more to a murder and less of a hit and run.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, I had been in law enforcement on the highway patrol for, 15 years. I've worked several collisions, hit and run collisions. Nothing about this case from the very beginning run.
You stated then on record that you thought it pointed towards a murder. Why?
I mean, again, as any investigator, you go off of the evidence. There was no evidence that pointed towards this being a hit and run or a vehicle even being involved in it. It looked like it was more staged, like possibly the body had been placed in the roadway.
Proctor says, by the way, that the state law enforcement division, SLED, as it's known here, leading the investigation into Paul and Maggie Murdoch's death, that they have not contacted him yet. He's willing to talk to them anytime.
Southbound Highway Patrol mate, it's reference to a collision in Hampton County on Sandy Run Road. It is a 2-lane roadway, level, sight distance not an issue. However, this collision occurred approximately at night, so visibility will be used with headlights only. There's no other ambient lighting in the area. As far as evidence here, there's only the body was found in car park, any type of parts to a car or truck or any other vehicle. There is no body trauma other than to the head area. There is some scrapes and scratches on his left and right arm, on his knuckles, some across his face. Not appear to be, in my opinion, struck by a vehicle, possibly something.
Unbiased look at his body and an accurate determination of his cause of death based on facts. There was no debris in the road.
My bad, it's bugging. Okay, so those were the two statements from the gentleman that showed up, the LE, and they were both stating that there was no evidence to point to that. Let me get rid of I'm trying to do some other stuff and it was bugging. So they both had their opinions, or there was nothing that showed them that there was any type of hit and run that took place there. Now, I've even wondered, as I was doing my research today, I've even wondered if that was not necessarily where the car ran out of gas, but I'm wondering if that's where the meetup spot was at. And somebody siphoned the gas out of the car. That's why the gas cap was left off.
I was wondering that too.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like it was a meetup spot, because I'm going to go back to the map. If you're looking at where this car was located on this road, it's the only part of this road for a while
we can't
that has
see the
any.
road, dude.
Oh, 1 second. There we go.
There we go.
This part of the road is the only part of the road for a while that has any kind of spot that just pulls off. And when you're looking at the car, let me go back to the date, or 22. So when you're looking at the car, this is that patch right here. The car was faced going forward this way. So it was going like it was back into town. And it was parked mostly in the grass. The tire was kind of off into the cement there, but the front of the vehicle was in the grass area pointed forward. So it had me wondering, like, this has got to be a dark road, number one, and why wouldn't this be a meetup spot? Especially when you consider what the mom was saying about how he was skittish. He wouldn't have walked, let alone the middle of the road, not even on the side of the road. He understood where he was at with his sexuality and, the stigma in the area. And so she said he would often walk off the beaten path because of that. He was very aware. That's what one of the court TV people even said on one of the first videos we watched this evening. He was very aware of the surroundings and situation. And so maybe that's where some of the reports came out about him getting chased through the woods, because he would often walk through there off the beaten path.
Could be.
So they were all in agreement when they said that they felt like the body was placed there. A lot of these people that we watched this evening. Now you listen to the statements that we heard from the Ellie a minute ago. They don't feel it was a hit and run. They walked and canvassed the area and made sure that there was nothing else that they could find that had any relation to the crime that took place. Multiple people. So when you get into the evidence and you hear that the coroner actually stated that it was a homicide, initially felt it was a gunshot wound based off the severity of the injuries, but then later came to the conclusion. The pathologist was the one that didn't agree with the coroner, didn't agree with the LE. The pathologist was the one that stated ruling it a hit and run simply because the body was in the middle of the road, even though there was no evidence to point it in that direction.
I'm sorry, that sounds to me like they need to have two people independently confirm a cause of death in their area.
Well, what's interesting when I did this research, and I'm not going to go into it tonight because it's another rabbit hole, but as I was going into this research, there was a lot of elections. I'll just put it this way. There was a lot of elections taking place, and a lot of people running or not running or running for re-election, whatever. You can do the research. That involve the coroner's name, that involve the pathologist's name. It's very interesting. Now, if we do get into some of this stuff later on in the show, I'm going to introduce you to some other cases that the pathologist also had some fishy dealings with, if you know what I'm saying.
It's there.
So
you can look
if
it
we
up.
don't get into it, I'll definitely share it real quick and put the links out there so y'all can read it. There's definitely other cases out there that I discovered that this pathologist is intermingled with that had very interesting outcomes, so to speak. Did a lot of homework today. Man, I couldn't find very much on that corner, though. Okay. So I want to go into Is there anything you guys want to add real quick? Is there anybody else that would like to hop on panel? We'll be opening up panel on tonight's show in about an hour.
No, I'm good.
Hour and
What's up,
15.
I'm just listening.
We'll be opening up panel on tonight's show in about an hour.
But the only thing I could think of would be they just need to have 2 independent people confirm cause of death in that area. Then all I can think of.
Yeah, somebody not connected with the Murdaugh circle.
Well, that's why I'm so happy that this GoFundMe took off like it did. I'm so happy that they're gonna exhume the body. I'm so happy that there was another GoFundMe that we were also kind of like throwing out there a lot, and that was the GoFundMe that Sandy was talking about last night when it came to those funds, not only covering the exhumation, second autopsy, and they had a different pathologist and all of these different things, and they still had money left over, and that's where she started the scholarship foundation thing or whatever. So that's the GoFundMe. That's completely separate. Then the GoFundMe, that was for the headstone. So sometimes people get those confused and who was a part of what GoFundMe and who wasn't. The first GoFundMe was for the headstones. This GoFundMe that we're talking about here is for everything else that took place afterwards. The science is going to be able to tell a lot of answers that aren't being told. What's up, Jessica?
Well, I'm sure they'll take a full body x-rays
Pittipus.
And look at every inch of his body, you know.
I sure hope so.
I do too.
And with the second autopsy, they said it was a 10 out of 10 when it came to the quality and what they were able to get from the second autopsy. So it was all rocking when it came to. Well, I came across an interesting article while I was doing my research. And so if this is a graphic conversation for you, please hop out for about 10 minutes and come back, or just hit pause and then skip ahead after 10 minutes. Or if you're in replay, just skip ahead 10 minutes from here. This is a conversation about what happens to a body in a coffin with a decomposition timeline. So with us talking about him getting exhumed, what they're going to be able to find possibly when it comes to evidence and such, and just even the general topic of it, I want to go ahead and share the information with you guys. So again, if it's something that's too trigger warning for you, then just skip ahead for about 10 minutes, and I'll go ahead and get into reading the article here.
I'm going to go out and have a cigarette, so I'll just mute my voice.
Okay.
Okay. In case the traffic's loud.
That's fine.
I'm going to need one.
That's fine. All right, let me get into this article here. After Your Time is a free resource providing trusted information about everything beyond life, whether you're planning for a future or you recently lost someone. They're there for you, and I'll go ahead and put in the link in the chat of the article here. Oh, that's cool. Right as happy. Oh gosh, caught me off guard. All right. What happens to a body in a coffin? Decomposition timeline. Many people take an out-of-sight, out-of-mind approach to the process that follows a funeral. While most will grieve and remember their loved ones, thinking about what happens to a dead body in a coffin once it's buried is often avoided. But wondering about the human decomposition process and timeline is entirely normal. There's nothing wrong with having questions. So During the first few months underground, the body will typically undergo active decay, purification, and blackening. Over several decades, the tissue and organs will continue to break down and liquefy until only the teeth remain. So we're 8 years later, almost at 1 decade. So it still should. Of course, many variables can affect this process, so in this post, we will set out the uncomfortable but intriguing truth about what happens to a body in a casket and the factors that can have an impact. It's Dr. Susan Aaron Presno. So when you do look up any information, make sure you add Susan, and the Aaron is spelled E-R-I-N. I'll go ahead and put it in chat exactly how it's spelled. You'll see if you look that up. There you go. You'll see what I'm talking about. And then here, the elections, the other cases, shoddy, freaking shit. It's not the first one. Not the first one. You gotta do some digging. Oops, sorry, hold on. It's bugged out on me. Sorry, everybody. Just make sure you search that name, because if you do Aaron, you'll go down other directions. Those are the two names that you need to research. It's a waste of time. Make sure you search by that name. Yeah, it's got a graphic warning up there if you need to. So this is the pathologist, Dr. Susan E. Presno. Coroner is Ernie J. Washington. If anybody else wants to look him up as well. Now, in this article, I mean, I've even have loved ones myself, you know what I'm saying, that have passed. But this is true crime. Sometimes you got to take a break. Totally understandable. You need to hop out for 10 minutes. I definitely would. I don't think any of this information is more beneficial than somebody's comfort. So needing to watch this, if it's going to trigger something, that's why there's the warnings up there. So you can go ahead and mute. There's not going to be showing anything graphic. It's just going to be reading some things about you know, the process of everything, of life. And so you can hit mute once you see that thing on the top right. Understanding human decomposition, the effect of a casket or coffin, decomposition, timeline of the body, weeks to years, years to decades. So, attempts have been made to create a universal formula for estimating how long a body will take to decay, but according to Dr. Diane L. Cockle of Simon Fraser University, this has not yet been achieved. The science is still not clearly understood. But the thing is the bones will be there, and the bones are what going to tell you exactly the kind of injuries, how they took place. Especially it was just reported that there was a partially dislocated right shoulder, broken eye socket, and the back of the skull was crushed. Scrapes on the skin, but that when you're talking about bones, that's not going to show. So that's going through embalming. And like I said, if you want to read the whole article, the link is in chat for you. It is a lengthy one. And then I'm going to go ahead and go to the link at the top here. Now, this is weeks to years. So the third stage. This is where purification will occur, and the body will discolor and blister. Categories. The organs will start to decay, and the hairs, nails, and skin will become loose. But the body and the bones will be there. That's the dry decay. The skeleton will remain. And the skeleton's what's gonna create the answers for when they're gonna do their investigations. So this is another article from People magazine. Are either of you familiar with any of the autopsy process? And
I'm not really. It's always kind of giving me the heebie-jeebies.
well,
I'm not.
SRB. Well, SRB. The thing is the statements that the LE are making is that in every single hit and run case, they've never had an individual with the shoes still remaining, and with his shoes loosely tied. We'll get into some information. You know what I mean. We know the information I'm talking about, SRB, and you can tell that it wasn't a hit and run just based off the shoes. You know what's
loosely tied and still.
So I don't know.
Don't make sense.
Like his mom said, nobody would be walking in the middle of the road, especially. It just doesn't make sense. I meant hit by a bat while on the ground. Oh, okay. I don't know. I've even thought, with this Mark individual, I even thought because the mom, as I was doing my research, I kept watching a lot of the interviews with the mother, and she was talking about how the last couple of weeks that he was alive, he got very private. And she had mentioned somebody was harassing him or bothering him, and then he eventually became friends with this person, and I wonder if it is this Mark person. And I'm kind of wondering, who didn't meet him maybe at that location where the car was found. And then some kind of confrontation took place.
Well, I heard a while back. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I heard a while.
I think he was placed or held there. When you look at the injuries, the eye socket, the back of the skull, the partially dislocated shoulder, to me, that's like somebody holding somebody in place while they get struck by something minimal amount of times with maximum amount of damage. So if not placed, definitely being held. And if you look at the left arm at the crime scene, to me, that says seizure. So I think it was, I honestly, 75% of me says that he was held there from somebody holding his arm up to make sure that he stood there while something happened. And I think it has to do with a piece of a sport equipment of somebody in the back of a truck going by. But no, it's the shoes, Moto. The shoes are loosely tied and still on the feet. There's right, Deb. And it wasn't multiple. If you look at the injury, it was more of like one hit, and with the severity of it, that's what leads me to believe somebody was holding his arm to hold him up, and then somebody came by and swung something, and they wanted to make sure that he was standing there while somebody come by and swung something. That's where the traumatic injuries started to take effect with, the arms and things like that. And it was basically right there, because if you look at the trail of fluid, that's something that happened right there. You just look at the trail. when it comes to that. And we'll be getting into that part in this episode. It'll be later on. Yeah, this is from March 19th. This is halfway into my digging when I did this case. That's why I always refer everybody, if go back to the recap, that's after I went through all the evidence, after I did all my deep diving, after I did all the digging, and then came to the conclusion based off of every single part of the evidence and everything else at the same time. Yeah, like a forceful, yeah. That's why I keep thinking the whole baseball bat is, think about it. People, you're driving by, you're hanging out the back of the truck, and you're hitting mailboxes for fun. Think of the damage it causes to a mailbox. Think of the damage it would cause to somebody if somebody was holding them up in the middle of the road while somebody drove by and did that. Exactly, Modo. It's one of those injuries that had to have happened right there. It wasn't a multiple kind of thing. It was obviously one hit. And with that one hit, the shoulder partially did it. It just, all of the evidence tells me and has told me that it was something that took place right there. That's why it was weird. That house, it was vacant at the time. Something just never has set right with me with that house either. Especially with it being vacant.
A while back that he called Buster for help when it broke down. I don't remember where I heard that. But it's speculation.
If that's the case, then Ellie will have that. If that's the case, then Ellie will have that information already. And
right.
I feel like if that was, but to my understanding, Buster was never interviewed for this case. And so if that is true, and it wasn't, how do I say? If it is true that he placed a call to him at that time, and it wasn't part of somebody shoveling it under a rug, which I think it would be pretty hard with the digital evidence, I would feel that he would have been a suspect already. And as far as I know, he's not even being interviewed about this case. So,
well, not yet that we know of.
But I don't know. I feel like if that was the case, he would have been interviewed way back then when everything took place. Because I don't know. That's just if somebody wasn't pushing it under the rug. I'm not saying it didn't happen.
Right. Well, Alex had
digital evidence.
Alex had a lot of SLED and state police and stuff in his pockets, so to say. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's why I'm saying so, if it wasn't brushed under the rug.
Yeah.
But it'd be kind of hard to cover up, I'd imagine. A phone record, because anybody can get the phone records. And just because you're Ellie doesn't mean you can tell Verizon to take a number off their call log. So it's digital evidence, you know, unless it's like totally thrown under, hidden or whatever, then I can totally see that taking place. But with how hard of the digital evidence is, I would think that he would have been a suspect way before Paul and Maggie were unalived. So this is
Stephen Smith, All About the Teen's Mysterious 2015 Death and Reopened Investigation. This came out about a week ago. And this kind of goes into it. Basically, his death has been considered mysterious since he was found dead in the middle of the rural South Carolina road in 2015. And questions have only intensified since the 2021 murders of Maggie and Paul Murdaugh, a mother and son from a prominent South Carolina family. Smith, a 19-year-old nursing student from Hampton, South Carolina, was found unalived in the early morning hours around 4 a.m., July 8, 2015. He was discovered lying in the middle of a dark road 3 miles away, where his car ran out of gas, with deep gashes on his forehead. Several local news outlets reported authorities initially thought Smith had been shot, but his death was later ruled a hit and run, a claim that his mother, Sandy Smith, disputes to this day. So, 6 years after Smith was found dead, South Carolina's top law enforcement agency announced they were opening an investigation into his death. The South Carolina Law Enforcement Agency Division SLED revealed in a statement that the investigation was launched based upon information gathered during the course of the double murder investigation of Paul and Maggie Murdaugh. SLED did not specify what information had led them to open the investigation. That's what we've all been wondering. Had a 7.25-inch gash on the right side of his forehead, as well as partially dislocated right shoulder and cuts and bruises on his right hand. His car was located 3 miles away with the gas cap unscrewed in his wallet. All right, I'll go ahead and take a pause real quick to show you the home real quick that I'm referring to. And then we'll get back to it. Give me 1 second. So when I keep referring to this home, this is the home. So his body was found. His body was found right up there. Okay. So you can see the memorial there. There's the telephone pole. You come down here. Well, the red X is red square still. Oh no, it didn't go that far. Okay. Whoa. Oh my gosh. What the hell? 1 second. All right. So right here is the, if I can get that off the screen. Okay, right there is, come on, Google. Right there's the red square. Can you guys see it now? So right there's the red square. Okay. So if you come around here, and it looks a lot farther away than it really is because it's Google. It goes like 10 feet at a time. I don't know why. All right. So you can see there's the telephone pole. There's the cross. The red X is right over there. Okay. This is the house that I'm referring to. Now, this house, I wish this would go away, but it won't. All this right here was nothing but trees so thick you couldn't even see through them. So thick. So, and all of this
was a lot thicker as well. Basically, the trees came up all through here, so you could only really see the house very good through the entrance here. Now this house sits way in the back, and before there was nothing but a bunch of trees back there. So this house was vacant at the time. Now, isn't it kind of convenient? And you can see from the bird's eye view. See all the trees. This was the old photo before they took the trees down. See all the trees? It was so heavily wooded. What the hell did it just do now? It was so heavily wooded, you're not going to hear nothing. And isn't it kind of interesting and convenient that his body was found right past the driveway? So again, if I drop Google guy right there, body found, there's the house, vacant house, and it was filled with a bunch of trees during the crime. To me, I always didn't feel right about this house. And to me, something took place there, whether it was inside the house, in the back of the house, in the woods by the house, and it ended out here on this road. So that's the house I keep referring to, 5874 Sandy Run Road. If you remember. So it's still inside. Now his car ran out of gas. Steve, his mom said Stephen never would have been walking in the middle of the roadway, the family told, saying he was skittish. Smith's mother, Sandy, later reiterated the same point to the Hampton County Guardian. I just don't believe my son. It still is graphic, by the way. Son would have been walking in the middle of the road like that. Now, authorities were first reporting that there was a possible gunshot wound to the victim's head from the South Carolina Highway Patrol. And then the Smith case file stated that at the scene of the incident, Hampton County Coroner Ernie Washington referred to Smith's head wound as a gunshot wound, pointing to the bullet's entry point, referred to the death as a homicide. The deputy coroner present, Kelly Green, also verbally affirmed that it was a homicide to the SCHP officers present. However, a search for cartridge casings on the morning of Smith's death turned up empty. According to the case file, SCHP officers returned to the scene the following day, July 9th, to hunt for any evidence within 100 yards of where Smith's body was found, but there was nothing. Smith's autopsy also found no bullet or fragments. So at the beginning, everybody's thinking gunshot wound, nothing to do with a hit and run. Deb, what I think took place is somebody was holding him on the road. Somebody came by, hit him, and then they just put him down. The reason that this is why I think there's partially separated shoulder, I honestly think that the person was holding on to the arm, and from the force that they lost the grip. That's why I think it wasn't totally dislocated. It was partially, because I think they lost the grip. And then the body lays right there. If you look at the hand, it's like it happened there. There was a seizure based off of the position of the hand. And you look at the trail of fluid, and it had to have. To me, the evidence just with the injuries and location, and everything involved, the evidence just says somebody was holding him, got struck, lost grip. It happened and ended right there on the road where he was found. Well, it'll be interesting when the new autopsy comes out, because you really can't believe the autopsy that was done.
Right.
because it was obviously doctored in a way to fit whatever explanation somebody wanted to,
Yep.
hint, hint. So when this new one comes out, it'll come out at some point. It's going to be interesting for us to take a read through it and see exactly hit by that. Just going through chat here.
I really hope it goes to a different area too, or like the FBI or somebody there's no way that they have been bought off for this whole thing.
Well,
Yep, I
I'm
agree.
not sure the exact independent investigators who is actually doing this. If anybody knows, if you can put it in chat. I know that they're hired independent investigators. I'm not sure exactly who it is.
I know this. Whoever doctored it up in the beginning is going to be having some explaining to do.
Mm-hmm. Oh, exactly. That's why there was such a huss about it. The SCHP officers were apparently skeptical of the hit and run ruling from the beginning, and according to Smith's case file, because the person that we talked about that went and confronted Presnell about it, that he wasn't the first one. There was more. LE that was talking to her about this. Dr. Presnell reportedly told an SCHP officer that no glass fragments or any other evidence from a motor vehicle were found on Smith. A search of the scene at Sandy Run Road also found no debris or tire marks consistent with a motor vehicle crash. The case file read, and Smith was found with his loosely tied shoes on his feet and clothes appeared untouched. His phone was in his pocket, his keys were hanging halfway out of his pocket, and his wallet was left in the vehicle. He was not walking to get gas. He was not walking anywhere without your wallet.
Yeah.
The coroner told the state police investigator he disagreed with the autopsy findings. The coroner told the state police. In 2015, Coroner Ernie Washington, who was present on the scene when Smith's body was found, told lead investigator Todd Proctor, which we heard in one of the clips that we watched from the show here, with the evil CJ cop lights, the audio, that was Todd Proctor. He did not agree with the autopsy findings. Proctor's case notes from the conversation detailed that Washington said he does not agree with the pathologist that the victim was struck by a motor vehicle. Nobody agreed with the pathologist, and unfortunately, the pathologist has the final say. Proctor, who no longer works for the SCHP, later echoed similar doubts about the hit and run to Fox News in June 2021. That's the audio I was telling you about. Nothing about this case from the very beginning pointed towards it being a hit and run, Proctor said. He continued, as any investigator, you go off the evidence. There was no evidence that pointed towards that being a hit and run or a vehicle even being involved in it. It looked like it was more staged, like possibly the body had been placed in the roadway. And this is somebody with experience.
CJ.
Yes.
I just pulled up about the independent autopsy. And in this news article from New York Post, it says, our understanding is that it would be carried out at the Medical University of South Carolina, where his death was initially
That's where
classified
that's where
a
she
hit
works.
run. Yep.
That's where she works. As soon as you
That's what
said that,
they're
I'm like,
saying.
that's where she works. Are you serious?
I'm serious. That's what it's saying.
Wow. Thank you for letting us know that. See.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. That's what it's saying. I do not like hearing that.
Wow.
I believe she is. Ernie Washington no longer is with us on this earth, so prayers to his family. The Murdaugh name was mentioned more than 40 times in the investigation of Smith's death, though no Murdaugh family member was questioned. So we're going to go to the incident report now. This is an article that came out a little over a year ago. I'm wondering did it say who's performing the autopsy?
No, it did not say. No. It just said that's their understanding that it's at that place. Wow.
You know, I have these other websites that people have sent to me where it's a story and it's like a continuous update website where whenever there's something new on that specific case, it always puts it in there. It's like CNN or something like that. Does anybody remember what I'm talking about? If there's one of those for this, I would like to know exactly like when whoever it is doing this. I wonder if any of those websites for this case like that.
What's the website?
It's like a website that it's continually updates when it pertains to a certain case. I've had them in the past when it came to like the Idaho 4 and train derailment, but it was with the Idaho 4 mainly, and then the train derailment came out, and then the spy balloon stuff. Whoops, clicked the wrong link there. So this has the incident report. Now I couldn't get the actual incident report, but without saving it as a bunch of different screens, I'm going to go ahead and just display it up here. This is Fitz News, and I want to thank you, Pam, for the link. And I know a lot of other people reached out with the link as well for this channel. I appreciate it. So I'm going to zoom in on the actual incident report full screen. So if anybody would like to take screenshots, you're more than welcome. And I'm going to move through it, probably 3 sections. So it happened on a Sunday. Now they're saying approximately 1 a.m. I keep hearing approximately 4 a.m. So I'm not sure why that's different. Anybody know?
What was your question? I'm sorry.
I've been hearing that Stephen passed around 4 a.m. or is that when the 911 call came in and that's when Ellie showed up? I've been hearing that he passed around 4 a.m.
That's what I've been hearing too.
On this incident report right here, first line, happened on a Sunday, 7/8/2015, approximately 1 a.m. So I'm just curious. Yeah, I'm just curious why it's different, and maybe I'm just not understanding something.
They found him passed away on a Wednesday night, well, early Thursday morning. So why would it say Saturday at 1 a.m.?
It says Sunday, approximately 1 a.m. on the incident report. That's something we're going to have to figure out.
Yeah, that don't make any sense.
Oh, wait, and it's got Wednesday checked off, too. What?
What?
It's got 2 days checked on it, a Sunday and a Wednesday. It's got 2 days marked off. We're on the first line. What? We're on the first damn line.
That's nuts.
That almost makes me wonder if somebody hit the wrong thing and didn't catch it because they were trying to get out of there on a Saturday and they were behind on paperwork for Wednesday.
Well, he was found on a Wednesday night, Thursday morning, right?
Yeah.
So maybe they just I don't know. So
Like I
that would,
said, it could have just been a simple mistake on paperwork.
well, it wasn't on a Saturday night that they did it or a Sunday. It was on a Wednesday night. So Russian.
You're
It's just
not
an
blaming the
accident.
Russians, are you?
It's just an accident, but you know, it's just
That just
interesting. It's the first line, and
that's weird.
there's already a typo. Victim. Let's see what else. A lot of NAs in this first section here. NA 58165. And it just says the address of the pedestrian as a victim. Now scrolling down to the next category, subject. Nothing filled out, just says unknown. Now, remarks at the bottom, and this is what is being highlighted. Yeah, death on Wednesday, autopsy on Saturday. On July 8th, between the hours of 1 a.m. and 4 a.m., an incident took place involving the victim and an unknown subjects. The victim was found in the middle of Sandy Run Road, deceased from some sort of blunt force trauma to the head. Responded to the scene. I saw no vehicle debris, skid marks, or injuries consistent with someone being struck by a vehicle. The victim's shoes were loosely tied and both were still on. After consulting with MAIT, we see no evidence to suggest the victim was struck by a vehicle. The incident is still under investigation with supplemental report to follow.
Now, was that the coroner?
No, that's an incident report. That's from the Highway Patrol.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say, that sounds like it was written by a cop.
From DB Howell is who wrote out the incident report. South Carolina Highway Patrol. Document CL-062-15. Now, another SCHP investigator who walked the scene found no evidence of car parts or pieces on the scene, affirming the judgment of the responding officer. SCHP troopers and investigators weren't the only ones who didn't buy the official story. Following the autopsy, Hampton County Coroner Ernie Washington told SCHP investigator Todd Proctor he did not agree with the pathologist stating that the victim was struck by a motor vehicle. SCHP investigators questioned Presnell, the pathologist, about her conclusion, but got nowhere. On July 28, 2015, 12 days after Smith's death, Proctor tried to speak with Presnell about why she settled on the hit-and-run explanation, but was rudely rebuffed. After attempting to stonewall the SCHP investigator, Presnell allegedly called him a liar when he was telling her that he already had talked to the coroner prior to coming to talk to her. That's when she called him a liar. Pressed as to what led her to conclude Smith had been killed by a vehicle strike, Presnell responded because he was found in the road, according to Proctor. She had no evidence other than that for the statement being put in the report, Proctor wrote in his case notes. The kicker is Presnell dismissed Proctor from her office by telling him it was his job to figure out what struck Smith, not hers. And I'm going to go ahead and put the link in chat too if you'd like this article. This is again from Fitz News, and I appreciate it. If StreamYard will let me.
Come on, StreamYard.
There we go. So now this is Todd Proctor, former SCHP. He states on July 22nd, 2015, he went down to MUSC on this date to meet with Dr. Erin Presnell. She is the pathologist that performed the autopsy on the victim in this case. The reason I went and spoke with her was due to a preliminary report where she stated that the victim was possibly struck by a motor vehicle mirror, which was the cause of death. Sergeant Moore had already had, from my understanding, a heated conversation with her about this issue. The MAIT team has always had a good working relationship with MUSC, so I wanted to see if I could go down there and get some sort of clarification. As soon as Dr. Presnell came into the room, she began in a negative tone, stating that I did not have a meeting scheduled and that she was very busy. She stated that she could not even begin speaking with me about the case without the coroner's consent. I advised her that I had spoken with Coroner Washington the day before, and she basically called me a liar and said she would call him right then.
Thank you, Kid Kitty.
When I asked if she wanted me to call from my cell phone, she backed off. I asked her why she stated that in the report, and her answer was because he was found in the road. She had no evidence other than that for the statement being put in the report. She asked why we did not think it was a vehicle strike, and I explained to her that we had no evidence of this individual being struck by a vehicle. I asked her if someone with a baseball bat could do that, and she stated no. When I probed further, saying, "What about someone in a moving car with a bat?" she stated, "Well, I guess it's possible." She then asked if we found a bat as evidence. I could see that this conversation was not going to yield any positive results. As I was leaving, she stated that the report was preliminary and it was my job to figure out what it was that struck
What's up,
me, not
Bianca?
hers. And it's interesting that she asked the LB if they found a bat as evidence. Now, a month later, on August 18th, 2015, Proctor noted that he was unaware of the so-called historical information Presnell referenced in her autopsy report, which memorialized the hit-and-run theory, and to this day, no such historical information has ever been produced. Proctor's case notes from that day included another shocking statement, too. The coroner stated that he had made contact with the pathologist, Dr. Presnell, and she stated that she would be willing to change her report to read however he wanted it. Proctor's notes read, "Wait, what?" Presnell was willing to change the report to read however the coroner wanted it? If this statement is accurate, Presnell should have been immediately terminated from her position at MUSC and never allowed to conduct another autopsy ever again. Because if that's true, every autopsy should be conducted before or since is in question. Seriously, did she identify the cause and manner of death based on the evidence, or did she change the report based on external pressures? Because any forensic pathologist willing to change the report to read however someone else wanted it has shredded not only their integrity, but the integrity of their employer and the entire profession. So based on all of this information, it's abundantly clear an independent review of Presnell's autopsy of Stephen Smith must be conducted immediately up to and including the exhumation of Smith's body from its resting place in Gooding Cemetery in Crocketville, South Carolina. Isn't that crazy? Sketchy as hell. So as we're talking about this, I didn't notice you bounced out there, Kitty.
Sorry, I was messing with my phone and accidentally kicked myself out.
So I won't.
I do that.
We can always go into this some other night, but I'm going to share this with everybody as I was doing my research.
No, you're good.
Definitely take a look
I was
at this.
hearing, I was listening what you said about her changing her story to what they wanted. That's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. And it's sad. I don't know. I need to know who's doing this autopsy.
Why I said I hope they're doing something with they're not in that area.
Yeah, it's not good. So this is a Reddit post about Dr. Erin Presno was in another case where she missed important issues. And this link will send you down a rabbit hole of its own. So if you're interested in that rabbit hole, there is the link. There are other cases out there that are questionable. And I definitely wanted to share that. Happy hunting.
I don't need any more rabbit holes to jump in. I got too many.
There's a lot to it. I'm like, yeah, I don't have that much time today. I even made a new background for the show. Oh, this is the post I was talking. Okay, cool. Yeah, there's so many links regarding all those. All right, and this is a short video, them talking about the difference of opinions on the manner of his untimely death. We'll pause, mute the ad. Whoop.
Homicide. We've been telling you this week about the death of 19-year-old Stephen Smith. His body was found in Hampton County in 2015. SLED is now investigating his death after information was found in the double homicide of Paul and Maggie Murdaugh in Colleton County. They were found dead earlier this month. Now, we received more than 100 pages of investigatory documents today related to the Smith investigation. Our Tara Jabor read through every single page, found some differences of opinions from experts. Tara, there seemed to be a discrepancy in the investigation of how Stephen Smith died.
Hey, Dean, that's right. Experts seem to be at odds over the cause. After talking to his mom, Sandra, yesterday, we wanted to take a closer look at what exactly happened the night that Stephen died. Stacks of documents released to us show a flurry of back and forth in the investigation into Stephen Smith's death. We now know Highway Patrol found Smith's body on Sandy Run Road. What troopers didn't see was any evidence to show Smith had been hit by a car. Documents reveal no vehicle debris and no skid marks. An initial report only pointed to blunt force trauma to the head.
They said he was shot in the head. And then it turned out it was a hit and run, and then he was beat up. And so the story just kept changing over and over.
Documents also mapped out where Smith's car was found. That was 3 miles away from his body on Bamberg Highway. Highway Patrol found the keys in Smith's pocket, further adding to the mystery for Smith's family.
I'd be happy to see all this, laid out on the table, finding out who did it, why they did it.
Highway Patrol also sought more information after Smith's preliminary autopsy suggested that Smith was hit by a vehicle. An MUSC pathologist stated the victim was possibly struck by a motor vehicle mirror, which was the cause of death. Highway Patrol says there was no evidence to support that conclusion. Almost a month after this conversation in 2015, Investigator Proctor spoke to the coroner about the final autopsy. In the report, Proctor said, quote, "He faxed me a copy of the report and told me that he does not agree with the pathologist, stating the victim was struck by a motor vehicle."
And nobody's agreeing. The pathologist was basically on her own. The case goes so much deeper than we can imagine, and that's for sure. And I'm going to go back to the video of Corporal Duncan, and he explains all of this perfectly, how this was not a hit and run. And this is as everybody was there at the scene.
Patrol mate reference to a collision in Hampton County on Sandy Run Road. It is a 2-lane roadway, level. Sight distance not an issue. However, This collision occurred approximately at night, so visibility will be used with headlights only. Other ambient lighting in the area. As far as evidence here, there's only evidence of where the body was found. There's no car part, no any type of parts to a car or truck or any other vehicle. There is no body trauma other than to the head area. There is some scrapes and scratches on his left and right arm, on his knuckles, some across his face. Does not appear to be, in my opinion, struck by a vehicle, possibly something.
And
Oh,
new
come on, I
autopsy.
paused it. Jeez. So nobody's agreeing. LE was like, what are you talking about? The only evidence that she states in her report is that because he was found on the road, and all of the other stuff pertaining to contribute to the theory of a hit and run has not been produced. And like they said with that Fitz News article, if she's basically willing to change what the report says based off of what someone else wants, why is she still practicing? So I'm going to share this tab real quick. This is Susan Aaron Presno. Professor, Pathology, Medical University of South Carolina College of Medicine. So here's the link to this article if you'd like to have it. And also, here's another Reddit link if you'd like to check this one out. This kind of goes into the whole connection. No supporting evidence. And Presno refused to be questioned about how she determined that Stephen's cause of death was a hit and run. Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
This also talks about other cases that are connected when it comes to, the funny stuff that she liked to do when it came to cases and findings and such. What we're talking about tonight. But
That's
those are other cases. Yeah, it is, isn't it? And like I'm saying, when you start looking up the name, you'll see there's a lot of elections that were taking place in 2014. Okay. Just check it out sometime. We won't get into it tonight.
Some of the stuff we talked about too.
Yeah, we won't get into it too much, but yeah, if you do your digging, you'll find out that there's a lot of elections that were taking place. Yeah, very interesting.
And it plays a lot in all kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Especially when it comes to the stuff that we're talking about the favors and the pats on the back and the handshakes and all that stuff.
Yep.
And this isn't the end. We still got plenty more to go into. And we got theories that are coming up tomorrow night and Tuesday night. We're going to be going into all the different theories and kind of exploring all those. So I can definitely use your help in those nights too. Your brains too, your thoughts, your opinions.
What days are those?
Tomorrow night and Tuesday night we'll be exploring all the different theories that are connected to this case. It'll just be about the theories.
Okay.
I
might be free for a little bit tomorrow night. I'm not sure what's going on yet. I might have to go into work for some extra trainings here soon, so since they won't get me they won't get who I need during my normal shift.
And yeah, SRB, a lot of it does seem to get covered up during elections. That's why it was interesting. As I was doing my research, I couldn't do too much into it because I was already researching all the stuff I needed to. And I'm telling you, like, I'm just on the tip of the iceberg when it comes to these elections. I haven't even went into it. I just noticed that there was little carrots dangling out there that I couldn't grab onto yet. But yeah, there's a lot of elections that were taking place right before the crime took place. And when it comes to their intermingling and their puppet strings with all of the stuff that's going on down there, I would, it's what we've been talking about. That's all I can say. It's a speculation channel, right? Thank you. I appreciate
Yeah.
that, Pam. I really appreciate that. I'm busting my ass working on this stuff, giving it all I can give it. So I appreciate the kind words. Thank you.
Yes,
Now,
you are.
thank you so much. And your guys' help, the links and everything too. Now, this is former trooper with Aiken ties questions cold case connected to Murdaugh murders. Now, a former state trooper has cast fresh doubt, this is articles from a year ago, on the conclusions of a 2015 death investigation that is being re-examined after new information surfaced in connection with the high-profile Murdaugh family killings. Former trooper Todd Proctor served as lead investigator on the death of 19-year-old Stephen Smith, whose body was found July 8, 2015, on Sandy Run Road near Joe Miley Road in Hampton. He told Aiken Standard on June 24, 2021, he still disputes the autopsy findings and disagrees with conclusions that Smith died as a result of hit-and-run collision. These are LE professionals saying this. I've been on the highway patrol at that time for 15 years, and nothing about the case looked like a hit and run to me, Proctor said. There was just no evidence to support a hit and run. You just saw the clip from Corporal Duncan that we showed with the video even showing the crime scene. Proctor, who was born and raised in Aiken, was part of the Highway Patrol's multidisciplinary accident investigation team, which investigates complicated crashes and traffic fatalities. He has been interviewed by multiple national media outlets this week after the State Law Enforcement Division confirmed it was taking another look at Smith's death as a result of information uncovered during the probe of the Murdaugh slayings. Now, it remains unclear how Smith's death may be related to fatal shootings of Paul Murdaugh, 22, and Maggie, 52, who were killed June 7th at the family's hunting lodge near the border of Hampton at Carlton counties. The Murdaughs are a prominent family in South Carolina. 3 generations of Murdaughs have served as 14th Circuit solicitor covering the state's southern tip. Alec Murdaugh, Paul's father and Maggie's husband, also worked part-time for the 14th Circuit Solicitor's Office, which will have to determine whether to rescue itself depending on the outcome of SLED's probe. Isn't that interesting? There's another connection we didn't know about.
Wow. We just keep finding out more and more.
Smith's death was initially thought to be a hit and run, which is why MAIT was called out that day in July 2015. After examining a head wound Smith suffered, authorities suspected he might have been shot. Proctor said that MAIT team's involvement then ended and Hampton County called SLED for assistance. So SLED came out to the scene and processed the scene and the vehicle and all that kind of stuff, Proctor said. However, when the pathologist who performed the autopsy determined Smith was not shot and might have been struck by a car, Proctor's unit became involved again. It had been a few days since the incident, so Proctor said his team had to play catch-up with collecting pictures and evidence from the scene. In a report by Proctor from July 22, 2015, he describes visiting MUSC to meet with Dr. Aaron Presnell, the pathologist who performed Smith's autopsy. We already went into all that stuff of what he was saying. Now, The report stated the cause of death is blunt head trauma from a motor vehicle crash, pedestrian versus vehicle, with the manner of death being undetermined. After a while, Proctor said all the leads ran out. We kind of hit a brick wall. Every once in a while, a new lead would come in and we'd try and track it down and see if anything panned out. Proctor said, unfortunately, we weren't able to solve it. SLED spokesman Tommy Crosby confirmed June 22nd that information gathered as part of the double murder Murdaugh case prompted the agency to open the investigation. So you got the autopsy being done at the same place that it was first performed.
What it sounds like.
You have Presnell still performing when it sounds like she shouldn't be. And then you have Alec Murdaugh, used to work part-time for the 14th Circuit Solicitor Office, which will have to determine the same office that will have to determine whether to rescue itself depending on the outcome of SLED's probe. I hope that this case and this autopsy and all of this stuff is not another frickin' sham.
It better not be.
The more I'm uncovering stuff, I don't like the sound of this stuff. I really don't. Let me
Sounds
get
to
back
me
to
like the
that.
whole county down there is just kind of messed up.
If her work is in question, just think, yep, that too. But even beyond that, all the cases her herself, not even ones that Alex didn't handle. All the other cases, you'll definitely want to hit up them Reddit links because you're going to, like I said, Pam, you're going to go into a rabbit hole and you're going to see all these other connections. I just didn't have time. I saw the carrots. I just couldn't grab them because my hands were full. I don't know. This stuff just makes me nervous.
Yeah, me too. Of all places to have another autopsy done. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, when anybody finds out who is performing that, can you definitely reach out and let us know?
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't even care if you put it in a video or a whatever comment. Reach out to us. Let us know who it is, because I don't know. It don't sound
It better
good.
not be her again.
It don't sound
No.
good.
If I was his mom, I would say get a different person. Whether she has any pull or not. Probably not.
Well,
Well, if they're hiring an independent, I would think that would mean they're taking it somewhere else, or there's a forensics lab that isn't tied in with the state there that she found.
I was thinking the same thing myself until I found out tonight it's being performed at the same medical facility, because there's got to be other medical facilities in that area. When you're talking about Charleston, I mean, I'll show you. You can't tell me that when you're looking at this area, you have 3 major cities around it. You have Charleston. Let me zoom back here. You have Charleston, Augusta, and Savannah. You're basically in the middle of all 3 of these major cities here. So tell me that you couldn't go to a different location. You went to Charleston when you could have went to Savannah to have it done. You could have went to Augusta to have it done. I guess that's Georgia. In Georgia.
Yeah, that's Georgia.
Well,
yeah.
Columbia. You got Columbia. I wish they would highlight the state lines right there. That'd be nice when you're looking at satellite. But I mean, there's got to be more than one medical facility that could handle this stuff too in Charleston, even.
You would think.
I mean,
I'll be keeping an eye on who's doing the autopsy. I'll be keeping an eye on that. Because I
you
don't
can't
like
tell me
what
there's
we're
not a
hearing.
medical facility. I don't either. You just can't tell me there's not another location. I mean, I don't know. I'm interested. I'm wondering if there's any interviews out there of the mother's response to where it's going to be taking place. I know it's all new because, hell, it was just a few days ago, and I'll post it up again. It was just a few days ago that this fundraiser, the GoFundMe, was created, and it's at 63,000 now. It hit the 63,000 mark now. So I'm interested if there's any clips out there or interviews of somebody asking her what she thinks about that medical facility, the same one that did the autopsy before. How she feels about that. There's a link to the GoFundMe if you want to visit that. And then again, the hate crime bill, if you wouldn't mind signing that, from Suzanne Andrews. Just standing for Stephen, the founder, standing for Stephen. 3,221. So yeah, that's what it's going to be interesting, you know, with now you got the 14th Circuit Solicitor's Office. Yeah, my mind is sore from all this digging. It was crazy. As soon as I woke up until I started the show, it was the whole day. But you know what?
I love you, Queen.
It's worth it. Yeah. Going to be very interesting. So that's pretty much all I have for the information. I'm trying to see.
It's just a bunch of small talk after that. So what'd you think, Yoli? Everybody else in chat, what do you think about that shoddy ass bullshit that took place, right?
Yeah, it's what you said was going to happen. That was going to shit. Yeah. That's bad. How does she still have how does she still have a job? Her license is still active.
Same place. That's why when this second autopsy was going to happen, I was like, oh my gosh, please don't let her frickin' do the neck, you know, like, please.
Same place?
Please. It was crazy.
But I mean, the only thing I can think of is that they did not report her, that the officer didn't report her, or the coroner didn't report her when she said, I'll change it to whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
And so the medical board doesn't know that she said that. But if she said that, I'm sure the medical board would be on her ass.
It's in the report. It's in the report. Like,
they would.
The full MAPE.
It's what?
It's in the full MAPE report. These are statements.
Yeah, it's.
That's why. Here. It's so bad. There's like no in between. It sucks. Here, let me try this. That's even worse.
It's like they think nothing's going to happen to them. like they're protected, you know, and they can just do whatever they want, say whatever they want.
Right. That's why I had to do a read through, because when these drop, see, some of the Fitz news that I was using from back then, I was just using a couple clips. I always love promoting other you know, content creators that do work and shit. This is the full report that I got. Now it's like 2.5 hours or something like that. But like when I go through this was the first time that I had read a couple pages here and there that got released. When I read this, I did the full read through. I made sure that I didn't do the full read through until I was ready to record the full read through, because I wanted to make sure that I don't know, whenever I do my mental sleuthing and stuff, it's always got to be on the fly. That's why a lot of the times I'll wait for stuff until it's on the fly, because that's when all the stew's being cooked. It's hard for me to like kind of, I don't know how to explain it. I got to be able to have the stew on the fly.
It has to be mashed up right in your mind.
That's where everything mixes together, and then I start getting that intuition, and you know, I start blocking out what makes sense, what don't make sense, all possibilities, like just crazy shit. But yeah, I figured people would finally understand. Sorry, you guys that were in the Discord chat didn't know what I was talking about when it came to the shit bricks, but now you guys do.
Oh.
so
no bricks.
No, just a little. So if you guys want, hop in there. It's a good way to get the updates and stuff as well. Because a lot of the times these notifications aren't popping off, and in there at least I'll drop in and say, yo, I'm going live at this time, or I'm live, whatever, since YouTube's being buggy. I mean, hell, how long has this 503 era been going on? Like 2 months now? Maybe more? I mean,
I don't know what that is. When you chat, you just get a 503?
Yeah, chat will like, it'll bug out and it'll just say error 503, and you'll have to hit retry to load the chat back up. It basically makes the chat go away.
You have to hit what? Retry? Okay.
Yeah, you have to hit retry in order for you to be able to see the chat again.
Yeah, I don't know how I would be able to look at Discord. It takes some, I mean, while I'm on here, it's too confusing.
Oh, no. This is, no, I was saying people for notifications of when I'm going.
Oh, they would know, yeah.
Not when I'm on. I don't get on Discord. It's
yeah.
Security.
Very interesting.
The security stuff. But yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, my phone works better with the delay. It doesn't have this delay, whereas when I plug into my computer, there's a delay.
Yeah,
so that's why I was trying to use my phone to talk and my computer to chat, and then I get all confused, and then I'm like,
why?
What's going on?
No, just
I don't know.
Just have it. Just listen and put it in your.
Because I forget that I forget that. Well, I did it today until my phone started dying.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. I always have like a battery brick hooked up to mine, so it's 100% for the whole time of the show. But yeah, it does. When you're on panel and StreamYard definitely burns your battery down. It's no lie. No lie at all. Prayers, Jessica. And thank you for hanging out. So if you guys would like, we can always do. I've been enjoying these rewatches. It's kind of interesting. Usually it's embarrassing because you see.
No, these are good.
Yeah. And I know there's so many episodes. I know, but really, there's so much to it. There really is.
There's not a whole lot of wild There's not a lot of room for wild speculation. Let's say.
No, it's because like I said, I came across this case. Nobody was talking about it. I'm like, this is one of the most messed up cases out there. Why in the hell is nobody talking about it? So that's when I just said, you know what, I'm going to dig into this case hard. And that's what I did. And there isn't a lot about, there is barely any speculation. If it is, it's stuff that I'm saying I feel took place that there's no proof of right now. You know, you could say that. But really, when it, you know, and a lot of these episodes, there's, you know, it's a process of me digging and then adding and digging and adding. That's why I'll always refer anybody to the last couple of episodes, because that's where we get everything in my head being put together. What the hell makes sense and what doesn't make sense, and those are the best episodes on all of them. But definitely each one has its own, you know, we're going through different parts, and you kind of, you know, when you do start to watch them from the beginning, you're seeing the facts that are coming out up to that date. So always keep in mind the date that the episode's on. And then as I keep, you know, in the first couple episodes, I think the whole Sean and Patrick theory was just a distraction until I started digging into it. And I'm like, oh shit, no, this is the most logical freaking thing that took place.
After all that's said and done, yeah.
When you start to collect everything as you're doing the shows, and then doing all the homework behind the scenes in between each one of them, and then adding them to each part, it's like a Lego set. Each little brick, as time goes on, and then at that final episode with the evidence, you know, that's the Lego space shuttle. I always wanted one. I always space shuttle. It was crazy expensive. It was just one of them things in the store. Store was tricky. I never got it. It just made me think about it. Talking Legos. I always think about that space shuttle.
Yeah.
It's expensive, isn't it, Kevin? Lego space shuttle. Yeah. I always wanted one when I was a kid. I love outer space. I always have. Yes. Yes, he does. And it was so nice to be able to pay my respects in person. It was important to me because, like, $200, yeah. It is important to me because, you know, shit's fucked up. You know,
so Stephen Smith's mom came on your show?
No, Suzanne Andrews. I haven't really reached out to them just because there's a lot of stuff going on. I'm not trying to interrupt anything. You know what I mean? I had Suzanne Andrews on, which she set up the GoFundMe, and her father held the event for Stephen and Stephen's father to be able to purchase the headstone. So, yeah, it was really cool.
Well, hopefully people will speak up.
I'm going to be meeting her on my next trip when I come back. I'll be meeting up with Suzanne. So we'll probably have one of those long chair conversations. So it'll be really cool. I can't wait to meet her.
Wow.
Yeah.
She seems, I don't know, she seems like she just wants the truth.
Yeah, she there was no connection or anything. She just
Can't they just give her the truth?
It's a good interview. I had her on the show. You know, I talked to her about her background and what got her interested in the things that she was doing, stuff like that. Showed some clips with her in it. Definitely, you know, it's like I said, there's beautiful souls out there like that don't have to, like, you know, even with the show, you know, it doesn't directly affect me. I just saw the evidence, and I saw how it was a hit and run, and I'm just like, why in the fuck is it this many years later and nothing's being done? I gotta talk about it. I have to. I wouldn't feel right if I didn't.
Yeah, I was like, what's with the Murdaugh? I didn't even want to get involved in that Murdaugh case because he's a lawyer, and I don't know. But then I heard about this kid, and then I thought, wait a second. And then the housekeeper that fell and died. I was more interested in those cases than the actual, Murdoch case.
That's what I'm saying, and this is what was crazy to me is nobody was talking about it.
Like what?
It's one of the fuck the Murdoch shit. It's one of the most messed up cases, period. Like,
and then
in
reading
general.
all of this, it's like, my God, how do these people get away with it?
Down to the pathologist.
I don't know. It's in black and white.
Down to the pathologist. So, yeah, that's why I had to. I was like, there's no way. I wouldn't feel right if I did, because I'm sitting there I'm just digging, I'm like, you know what, fuck this shit. Like, this shit needs to be talked about. I'm sorry, like, some parts were graphic too. It had to be talked about. But this is one of those cases. I don't show a lot of shit. There's a lot of shit that I get and I don't show it. But this was one of them where it's like, you have to understand. You could sit there and show blurry pictures, and you could sit there and show pictures of a shoe or something, but that doesn't tell you the whole story of how messed up this whole thing was. How in the hell could anybody have gotten to a conclusion of a hit and run when you see the evidence of this?
It's a lie.
It makes no damn sense.
The hit and run is a lie.
100. It was like somebody
it's
said,
not
a
even
cover up for a cover up.
I mean, you can't even say it's an opinion that is not well founded or something. It's a lie.
100. Anybody could have walked up on that damn scene. LE that wrote, just like, any LE could have walked up to that damn scene and saw it wasn't a hit and fucker.
Yeah.
Even if they're doing parking tickets.
Yeah, I mean, geez, it's just.
You look at it. I see why at first the pathologist, was talking about a wound from a weapon, a projectile.
Oh, because of the head.
Because really, if you look at it, it's like, damn, right? But no.
But what?
It wasn't.
But part of a car, if he's standing, part of a car is
They were
saying
it. They were saying an extended truck mirror was what had done it, and it's like, no, there's no way. No, there's no way. Then the shoes would have came off.
Yeah, and it would have been like a
maybe got ran over,
like a opening, like
maybe it got ran over. No, it's somebody did something to where he was.
But it's not a hit and run.
He was like this,
That makes
with it, but not with it. Somebody holding the hand, and then somebody driving by and striking. Boom. And then somebody losing the grip. That's why it's partial, not complete separation. I had a basketball injury, or I tore the shit out of my shoulder. I have no ligaments in my right shoulder. Like, that shit was totally dislocated. Gone, ligaments gone, freaking whatever, tendons or ligaments, whatever that shit is, gone. My collarbone's not even connected to the rest. For real. Like, I know about a dislocated, separated completely, and somehow I shot better after it. But it's somebody, if they would have been able to hold on and then that happened, it's total separation. Somebody lost the grip when that impact happened. There was no getting ran over because it was from the back of a truck.
Yeah, and
so you're not getting run over.
Right. So, yeah, no. It sounds like I can almost see it, like the way you said it. Like he's standing there and somebody comes by and just wham.
That's why I think something took place at that property, whether it was inside because it was vacant or whether it was out in the woods. Something took place. It wasn't an assault because there was nothing like this. So it wasn't this kind of an assault. It was something else that made him to where he was
And then
there, but somebody had to. I don't want to, be
so
too.
no, he had no drugs in his system.
We don't know that for sure.
I thought it said that they.
But
Oh no, they said they did the toxicology report. They didn't
how
say
can you
what.
trust? How can you trust
How
it?
can you trust that? Yeah.
How can you trust it?
Because that other creepy message in Spanish, it made it sound like there's somebody else that's reaching out to him that's saying, I want to go home. And it's too damn hot. And it's just
I think that
weird.
was him.
He was talking to somebody.
Somebody.
Well, where was he?
I think that's, I don't know. See, Mark claims, and whether you want to believe Mark or not, okay? When I listen to Mark, I believe about this much of Mark, but I believe this much a lot, okay? If that makes any sense.
Yeah. What you do? There's certain things you believe.
I have a feeling all the other shit he was talking about, the islands, Cayman Islands, and I think that's a bunch of bullshit. I think the dude.
Well, he had the phone number for the Cayman Islands, apparently.
Yeah, a betting number, 1-800-BETS or some shit. Who knows? But when it comes to him having a conversation, I really do feel like he had a conversation with Steve. And I really feel like when he talks about tires and a dog bite, okay,
with the mud,
the mud tires, because the pavement, and when I drove down there, the pavement is very. I think he was in somebody's truck. Okay, I think the truck that was involved had something to do with the gas station threatening earlier that night. Okay, that's why Stephen didn't get gas. He went there to get gas, but then he left because he was getting harassed by a few people in the truck. What I think took place, is that Stephen was probably out driving around. Now, I was out driving around in that same area. And I'm telling you right now, it don't take long to get from here to here to here to here. Okay? So if you're, especially in that area, if you're bored as shit and you just want to get out, but you don't want to go too far, you're just going to drive around those country roads, because that's what I did for a while as I was lost. Okay? So I could see that truck running into his car at some point later, harassing him to the point where he pulled over at the spot that he pulled over to let them by, or just to, let them get out of the area so that he could do something different, right? And I think what happened is that truck turned around. And then I think what happened is they basically didn't make him forcefully, but I think they, with a threatening demeanor, told him to get out of the fucking car, and then he got into the truck with that. I think is what took place. Then I think the vacant property was known that it was vacant to all the people in the area, so they knew that they could go to that vacant property, hide the vehicle, and go inside the vacated property or be out in the woods and be able to do whatever the hell they intended to do without anybody even noticing, because it's out in the middle of the woods and it's a vacant property. You can't tell me if you live in that community you didn't know that property was vacant. You would know it's vacant because you're constantly driving down that road all the time.
And they may even know who it belongs to, and they know it's vacant, you know.
And it's a lot of woods. Before it was cut down recently, because now a lot of those woods are cut down. But when you're looking at the bird's eye view, you can see all of those woods, and you can see how that house is hidden. And if it's vacant, I'm sorry, the doors were probably not even locked or busted open.
But wait, well, Stephen Smith, he was from South Carolina, right?
He was from there, yes.
Yeah. So that's why that note that in Spanish, it sounds like it's somebody who's not from there, because they're saying, I want to go home. This heat is killing me.
It sounds to me like he was a 19-year-old kid, all right, young man.
Yeah.
It sounds to me like somebody that took Spanish for a couple of years. You know, come on, how many Spanish teachers are teaching in Brinson, South Carolina? You know what I'm saying? So it might not have been an effective teaching of that language. And so therefore you get little mishaps like that because maybe they weren't necessarily taught, or they didn't receive that information. You know what I mean? And maybe being out of it for so long because it probably didn't continue. Then you get a little rusty.
But the heat is killing me. He would be used to the heat.
No, what I think that meant is this situation that I'm in is getting dangerous.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. The heat.
Right.
I see what you mean.
The situation in the back truck. Who the fuck is that?
I get it. What's going on?
I don't know. Some dude screaming out here.
Uh-oh. Oh my God.
Oh, we're good.
So that makes sense. Okay, so he's talking about the heat, like, yeah, because that is a weird way to say heat.
Right. You're not trying to tell somebody, hey, these dudes are fucking with me and something's about to happen, because they'll be like, what'd you write?
Yeah.
No, but if you say the heat, they're going to be like, huh? It's not going to be as obvious. That's just how I took it.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, Dupree did yep. No, you're good, Jessica. We went over in the other episodes of the playlist. We did a show where we covered Kenneth. What's his name? Kenneth. He was with Dupree. You know who I'm talking about, Jessica. Kenneth Kinsey and Michelle Dupree. And I'm telling you right now, we knew that they were the ones that were going to be handling that part of the investigation with the new one. And when they came out, yeah, she's the one that said 10 out of 10. That's why I think like the right thing's going to happen, because I trust SLED. I believe SLED's doing a great job. I understand why SLED either can't release information or isn't able to acquire it. You know what I mean? I totally understand. So I think with the right evidence, which is what's been presented with Kenneth Kinsey and Michelle Dupree, you mix that with the new SLED, the SLED that really believes that it was a hit and run. Come on now, because they've changed it. Believes it was a homicide because they changed it from a hit and run to a homicide. So you know they believe it now, right? So you mix that with the better evidence, the correct evidence, as much as you can have based off of the length of time. I really feel like the right thing's going to happen. It just takes time. It takes somebody being able to be comfortable enough to say something. Who knows? Maybe the next trip I go out there, maybe somebody will want to say something and they'll feel comfortable telling me, and then I can relay that information to them. You know what I mean? Like, it could be a number of things. It just takes 1, 2, 3 people to be comfortable saying something. And that's all it takes. The crickets are super loud this evening. Sorry.
They're talking up a storm.
Yeah, because they're hearing me. Plus that guy screaming down the road.
It's like
But
they're
we're
having
good.
their own conversation. The crickets.
They are, aren't they? Hey, it's a hot fall night. You know, it's gonna be cozy time soon. They gotta get it in when the getting's good. 'Cause it's gonna be cold soon. I feel you, buddies. Because they don't wear winter jackets. So yeah. That's I knew when you heard that. I wanted to save it, but I was like, yeah. When she hears about this pathologist, and then currently still it's 2023,
Yeah.
y'all. I haven't checked in the last few months,
And
but up till then it was still the same.
Yeah, and I've deposed a lot of pathologists in autopsy who've done autopsies, and
Love her.
I've never, I just can't see that. I can't see somebody saying that they will change
And still have their job. You know what I'm saying? That's the
and
part that I knew.
still have their license.
That's the part I knew. That's why I said shit bricks, Yoli. Because I
And
knew
he's
when you heard that
documenting it.
part. I knew when you heard that part. You'd be
And
like,
it's documented. Like you have an official report. I mean, it's hearsay, but it's an official report.
right?
Kept during the course of ordinary business. So it's something that is like, it should be investigated. My God. But I mean, like, it just takes forever to get things, like, these people can be practicing forever. She's going to be a pathologist forever, but at some point it's going to have to catch up with her.
It always does. That's why you always
it's kind
give
of like
out
that Tom Girardi attorney in
positive
the Real Housewives.
energy.
I mean, he was.
You know, you give out the 150 positive energy, peace, positivity, progress, because it all does,
It catches up.
Right. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm just trying to be the best person I can be no matter what happens. And,
Yeah, because there's a lot of attorneys that it caught up to them, like there's celebrity attorneys, and they were doing all kinds of crazy things, and then all of a sudden it just does catch up to them.
It does.
And they've been practicing for the longest time, ripping off clients, and then finally they get caught, and it's usually because somebody says no. Somebody new comes in and says, we're investigating all of this shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's totally messed up. So fingers crossed that, fingers crossed that somebody talks, you know what I mean? Somebody's comfortable, because that's what it's going to take,
I can see that now. I can
sure.
see that now.
They're still so scared.
And I think it's going to probably happen if somebody gets really drunk.
Well,
but then again,
I don't really drink, so we ain't going to be partying with me. So.
No. I'm just saying that somebody's going to spill out something while they're drunk.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Something. Or somebody else.
But then they're going to say, oh no, I was drunk. I didn't mean what I said.
Yeah, but if it's in a statement, it can be investigated, you know?
Well, yeah, that's how this one got in Newport Beach, neighboring city over me. A guy killed his wife on a boat. He threw her overboard, and was a suspect for a long time. And then he had a new girlfriend, and he got drunk, and he told the new girlfriend what he did to his wife, and so she went to the police. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
I forget the name. She was a physical therapist and she owned a business and she was a physical therapist where I worked at the hospital. So long ago in the 90s. And they caught him. He got really drunk and he ended up telling her what he did, and that was it.
Jessica. So I don't know if you guys want me to do it. We can do like another rewatch where we can sit back and listen to everything from the full report read through. I mean, the shit's crazy. The shit is crazy. I definitely
Yeah.
you can either watch it on your own.
You mean tonight? Today?
No, not tonight. Another show
Oh,
we can do it. Yeah, another show like at night, because I'm gonna try and do a daytime show tomorrow. But we can, like, tomorrow night, we can definitely hang out again tomorrow night, be on the Stephen Smith topic, and we can sit back while I do the full mate report read through. And if you're new to the case, definitely grab your notebook, because I'll put the link out in chat for the whole report, and you can individually go to each page on your own. Just take notes of what page, of whatever notes you want to take, and go back to it at some point. And we can even have like a show after that where if other people, even you, Yoli, other people want to bring their notes onto the show, and we can have an open panel discussion about the full mate report. I think that'd be a cool show too. Have everybody up here with their notes and talking about different pages and what they think and what they think it means or says, or this subliminal message, or because there's so much to it. There's so much.
Well,
and
yeah, like
there's not one definitive thing.
White polo shirt.
Right. And that's at the last page of the report.
And it's
that's at the end of the report. But yet it's the first person that showed up that says something completely different. Isn't it crazy?
I guess it's
this was the report before the new shit started happening. See, there's a couple things in there too where you're like, what the hell?
Like, what the hell?
Trust me, when we go through it, I'll do it again if you guys want me to. We can rewatch that tomorrow night, and you'll be like, are you fucking serious? And I go through it right there. It's all live. Like, I'm sitting there going, wait a minute, this is what
yeah, I'm looking, and it's just like,
I'll probably get my notebook out too, honestly.
Yeah, it's like, this is unbelievable. I'm looking for it. It was a supplemental report. Okay.
Yeah, if you want to, we can do it again tomorrow night, same time. I'll make it this time instead of bumping it back a little bit, but we can do the show same time tomorrow night, and we'll watch the full mate report, and then after that we'll have a panel discussion.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it would be,
and discuss certain parts.
yeah, the full mate report. I feel like if you look at this thing over and over again, you find new things sometimes.
Yeah, for real. I mean, hell, what if you guys want to click the link, watch it, today or tomorrow, whatever, make your own notes from watching it, and then come back and watch with us again, because like she said, you go over it. I went through that damn thing multiple times after I read it, because I had to. I mean, it's you have to. You have to. It's like watching a movie again, and you're like, oh shit, I missed that little part. You notice little things that you missed the first time, just because there's so much. Totally understandable. There's so much, so you're like, whoa. But you do it a few times. I mean, maybe that's a good idea. Watch it before tomorrow night,
come back, watch it again, and then add to your notes that you already took from before, and either hop in chat or come up on panel. We'll have an open panel discussion. We'll do that. Let me see how long this the read through is, because it's probably, I think, maybe 2 hours. And then so really, if I start the show at 6:30 Eastern, that puts us at 8:30 Eastern for open panel, 9 o'clock Eastern for open panel, and we can have that segment in the show too. So let me see. It's full report starts at 17 minutes and ends at 2:20. So 17:20, half an hour. So it's 2 hours. So we could start the show at 6:30 Eastern. Little commentary in between. So that would put it at 9 o'clock Eastern for open panel discussions.
Yeah. Okay.
And Jessica, if you want to, if you're comfortable hopping up too tomorrow night, please do. Because it already hit 3 hours tonight. I'm going to try and there's a couple things that I'm going to get to before we end the show. I'm going to try and see if I can get these videos to work again, this live footage. But also I can go through some of these photos with you if you guys wanted to see any of them. And then, yeah, watch the mate report if you have time. If not, watch it the first time tomorrow. I'll go ahead and throw the link out in chat too. Let me see here, so you can have it if you just have time to actually read it, or you want to keep it for yourself. I'll share that as well. And then come back with notes tomorrow night. Will it fit the whole thing? Let me see. Yeah, it fit. From Fitz News, come back tomorrow night, and we'll discuss all of it. I'm going to get my notebook. I'm going to get my notebook out when I rewatch it, because I'm sure I'm going to notice something else I might not have noticed before. I think it'll be interesting.
Yeah. So strange.
Buster came and tricked him and took him.
Mm-hmm. Sure did not.
Hey, Jessica, would you want to hop on tomorrow? Would you be comfortable? Would you be available? If not, I mean, I love talking to other people about this case, because we just mix our stuff together, and we become a stronger force. And justice hasn't happened so far, and so why not get together, So seriously, if you're comfortable hopping up, I'd definitely love it. If not, hang out and chat still. Maybe highlight stuff. And I feel like hanging out at the lounge tonight too for a little bit.
Yeah, I have to eat pretty soon. I'm getting pretty hungry.
Me too. I need to eat something. I'm going to take a little break in between this show, and then I'll be back at the lounge.
Okay. I'll go to the
got some
lounge.
movie night stuff. We might do a Tupac episode at the lounge or something. We'll figure it out. Maybe some games or something.
I feel lightheaded.
But yeah.
I feel like I'm going to.
Oh, we'll go get some food. I need some too. So Thank you so much for hanging out tonight.
Yeah, it was interesting.
And, let's hang out tomorrow night. Let's do this full read through, and I might even listen to it before we rewatch it tomorrow night too. I'm kind of interested to hear everything again. It's been months, six months or so, but let's talk about it tomorrow. Open panel conversation about 9 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah, I know that there's crime scene notes. But do the emergency medical response take their own notes? Like the
I have
paramedics that come?
No, I haven't read anything with any. The only thing I've read is from Highway Patrol and the coroner, pathologist, and the officers that were on the scene, or anybody that was involved in the investigation. Just
They
basically
probably don't even
everything
have an
that's in the
emergency
report.
response team or something.
Because it would have been in the if it wasn't, you know.
Yeah. All righty. Okay. Well,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
gonna
all
go
in
eat and
there.
I'll be back.
Yeah, let me know. And shoot, you know, if you bring some notes tomorrow night too, with whatever else too that you dig into. Thank you so much for hanging out. Can't wait to hang out with you guys tomorrow night. We'll talk about this, and I'm gonna try and do a daytime episode tomorrow. I am intending on it, but I got to learn this GoPro thing too, man. This
And you're
thing's
going to the
confusing
lounge
as
after
hell.
the.
Yeah, I'm gonna eat and take a few minute break, and then I'll be kicking it up at the lounge. I'd say probably around 11 o'clock Eastern, about
Okay.
an hour or less. I'll be in.
All right. Okay. So I'll probably see you there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Robbie.
you're welcome, Kip Kitty.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Okay.
We'll see you in a little bit.
Okay. Bye.
Later. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you.
I'm just what I am. That's all.